Cool. All right. Hello, mate. How's it going? Hi, everyone. We are here, episode 24 of the Duke London podcast. We're back in the studio of the Duke London. We're not at Pirate Studios this week, but we will be next week. I'm here with Robia Milliner, another old friend. I feel like I say that about everyone on the podcast.
Much friends.
Yes, many friends. But now it's like when I don't say it, people are going,
oh well,
you don't like that
consider
person.
you as a friend. Then?
Yeah, they're like waiting for it, and I'm like, this is a person that I've met,
another human being.
No, I've known Roby for a long time. We go back to, I guess, Definitive's Toy Box days.
Yeah, wild when there was a show every week.
Trust, yeah. So
Pretty
anyone
much.
that listened to last week's episode, when we did the Toy Box sort of stuff, which was more in the days when everybody was in a group and everybody was doing these showcases, which none of us were getting paid for. And we were rehearsing like fucking 3 times a week or something to put together these sets and then performing, and then that's about it really. And then
you do the show, and
and then did the next one.
That was literally it. Yeah.
I can't remember who I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about it on last week's episode with Abe and Lee about the fact that when we used to do those shows, like the tech run was
my gosh, me and Tally have a whole thing. We've got a whole song for the tech. It's called.
Explain that one first.
It's called For the Tech.
Yeah.
So everything you do is for the tech, basically. I mean, the show didn't even really matter. It was the public, wasn't it? But as long as the dancers and all the dance groups came in their freshest gear, firstly.
You have to have like a different costume.
You'd have to have a different costume for the tech, and then you made sure you watched everyone's tech, because you'd get tech times and you'd get all the tech times sent to you.
So you know who's where.
So you know who's where. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna get there at 4:15. Make sure I see this. And then you would be like, all right, guys, let's mark it.
Yeah.
Don't
run-throughs.
Don't do any flips though. Yeah. But then as soon as the set comes on, no one's marking it.
We always used to do, I think it was always 2 run-throughs, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had like a soft run.
Yeah, like one mark and then one bang it. Like,
and then it was like, all right, guys, chains off.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And then you kind of pretended like, the full out run was for you when it wasn't. You're like, oh no, because we need to know what the flooring is like.
I needed to feel the floor and
it's like
the lighting, as if there was any lighting.
It's like, guys, let's wait until Kenrick comes back before you. Yeah, but yeah, so
the best times
in those days when everyone was like young and carefree, we used to do all these shows and various levels of shows. Some of them were big, some of them were very small, but we always used to catch each other at these type of shows.
Yeah, for sure.
This was Definitive's days.
Yes,
right?
This was DFAM Toy Box, and then it started building, and we started doing Bicycle and
true. So we
Bird Gang a bit.
Well, we never actually did.
We never did it together.
Once I came in for the
yes, and you gave me those crepes, mate.
Did I?
Oh, you gave me those crepes, mate.
Which ones?
What are they called? The Nike ones, black and white.
Did I?
And I was like, I don't have any black shoes, and Quayle was like, you're gonna need black shoes, and you was like, fancy these, and then you were like, you can keep them, and I was like,
oh my God,
who is this legend among us?
I'm just a very generous guy, actually. No, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that was a good time. I think Rox was there. She was at the tech because.
True.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, her and Lee came. Yeah, true. So we worked on Vice. That was
Bicycle
for Breaking Convention. If anyone knows the show that Quayle put on, Quayle Roach. It was kind of like a hip hop theatre thing that Breaking Convention supported a lot, and I travelled with them for the last 5 years or so.
You did a bit,
I came in
didn't
like
you?
just after it was made, I think, and then travelled for like 5 years or so with them, and then when they were doing it in the extending it R&D process, we performed together just the once.
Yes, we did.
A few rehearsals together and stuff, which was nice. So we've known each other for quite a minute. We were just talking about this anyway, but like, so what have you been up to basically? Like, how's the lockdown been treating you? Were you, because I know you were in the Zoo Nation show just before lockdown, Message in a Bottle.
Yes.
Which we came to see you at.
Yes,
me and Jenny.
You did.
And then we went into lockdown, and I haven't seen you since then.
That's
so update
wild,
me. What's been happening?
So firstly, I'm very good. I'm very, very good. I'm
to hear.
content. I'm warm. I'm feeling quite light.
Good.
The stop obviously was not what everyone wanted or initially expected. However, I think it did shed quite a lot of light onto people about what they'd like to do, about what they're feeling. It felt like a big self-reflection time. And it was actually quite nice to tap into the world, like stopping for a moment.
Interesting. Yeah.
As much as it had to, as much as it's not nice that it had to be something pretty epically tragic, I guess, to do that, there was something really special about just knowing that everyone else has stopped as well.
Sure.
And just I'd go on walks and see people just outside on their doorsteps, or just having a lot of restaurants have brought all their chairs outside, and it's just, there's something really warm and community-esque about that, which I felt really good, really, really good. It was a lot of self-development, I think, nice. And still always self-developing. Like there's, I am pretty good at stopping as well, but I think again it was nice that the world did, and to feel that.
And I think also when the world stops, there's no way you can make yourself feel guilty about,
Absolutely.
Should I be taking, it's like everybody's taking a break.
Like, do you know what? Everyone's taking a break.
Yeah.
We're all here in the same umbrella.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it just reiterated that you have the power and you make the choices in your life, basically, to do the things that you'd like to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, like I feel like anything I read or see, obviously like on the news, they're always trying to make things seem worse than it is.
Extra.
Yeah. But the sense I get when other people are talking about the arts is that we're all stressed and starving to death and dying, and which is like, yes, there's definitely something to be said about we don't have any money and a lot of opportunities have gone. But then everyone I speak to in my personal life has found a great way to like actually I've quite enjoyed it, and actually so I'm like, who are these artists that are
so who was the me I read a headline. It was something to do with like Britain is scrambling back home just before tier 3 or 2 of lockdown, and I'm like, you know, I'm reading this newspaper. I look around. Nobody around is scrambling.
I don't see any scrambling, actually.
I see no scrambling going on.
Yeah.
Definitely just walking home.
Yeah.
And I just think there's the sense of media is a massive thing, isn't it? And it has kind of taken over. I
think that's part of the problem.
I agree.
At the moment is that there's such a big difference between, and I'm not saying these things aren't true in the sense that like I'm definitely not saying that Corona's not a big deal or whatever. But I think there's a big difference from maybe I'm wrong, but like the general feeling in the public compared to what they tell us the general feeling is.
Absolutely.
Like most people I speak to are like, well, you know, I'm being safe, but
I'm
like
okay.
No one I know is panicking.
No one I know is panicking either.
Just the only people I know that are being extra, not panicky, but let's say extra aware,
cautious,
are the ones that have vulnerable people around them and stuff like that, and they're being like, oh, maybe we shouldn't shake hands because
which
of this,
I think is very valid.
Of course,
I think if you have, you know, if you're exempt or you're older maybe, or you know, the things that seem to be the problem, you'd pay attention to it a bit more. But the most of the people I know, honestly, have not been panicking or scrambling.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But then, yeah.
But the media portrays it to be this way. And the media does portray a lot of things to be high alert so that they get your attention, right? And then it's basically about reading it, because I think that's what a lot of people don't do as well, is you just end up reading the headline and then thinking that that's what the thing is. It, you know, I think you put up something about fact checking and it really does boil down to that. And sometimes you have to read things and have to go through the longevity of the post or the article, whatever it is. It is really good to understand the information first before pressing that reboot button and popping it on your story.
Yeah. I think it works both sides, because I've seen people, you know, sharing or whatever, you know, talking about the kind of same thing to media, talking about it being something panic worthy, I guess. And it's kind of like, okay, but you know, what's the sources behind that and understanding that, like you're saying. But also it's the other side of like, let's say, like people sharing that it's not a big deal, and they're like, oh, but the corona cases are 0, so why do you whatever? And then it's like, but you didn't read that either. So
no, you
as much as you think you're questioning the narrative,
so the balance, isn't it? It's hard to tell as well.
It's like, because if you read the case, it's like, well, maybe it's not what the media say, but it's definitely not nothing.
It's definitely not nothing.
It's definitely not shouldn't be going around sneezing on people.
Not caring at all. I think it's finding a balance of this level of care with it, isn't it? And it's kind of hard to tell when people are just reposting things, because you don't actually know where that person lies or what their opinion is on it. And a lot of things are put out there these days, especially as technology has developed. And there's just a lot of information put out, and a lot of it is a lot of people's opinions. Personally, I see a lot of opinions. And opinions are great. We need opinions. That is our human innate nature. However, and right. However, I think not having facts really puts you in a weird place. And I read this post the other day, and I think it says like it has facts, wisdom.
Oh, I saw this.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, mate? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's like facts, wisdom.
Let me see if I can find it.
Joy. Yeah, please do. I think I might actually have it on my gallery, because it's one of my favorites. Let's see. It would have been, what would it be? Screenshot.
I know exactly the post.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, mate, don't you? You're a legend.
We're finding it for you guys. Don't worry.
I love that you. Okay, I got it.
There we go. Go on, read it out.
She's got it. Okay, so data. And data is in these little, like, you know, we all get data, right?
Oh, yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
And data is out there.
It's just like so the way that this diagram is, I wonder if we can.
Can you show it? Go on. You can zoom.
I don't know if anyone can see, but I can probably put it up on the screen actually if I try and remember. I haven't done that with any of them yet.
I will send this to you.
Yeah, send it, and I'll try and for the first time ever.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so good.
We're breaking new boundaries, guys. But yeah, go on.
Come through.
Describe it to people.
Okay, so data is it's split up in 6 squares. And data is just circles. So data is just all the things.
Just stuff.
All the things that we get. Yeah, opinions, facts, whatever it is. And then you move on to information, and information is coloured in with these circles. So you're starting to gain information, which is a bit more factual, I'd imagine. And then you start to get knowledge, which is your take on these things, and you're starting to gain knowledge from maybe, you know, older professors or...
And it's these things of like, on the way the diagram is, it's like connected the dots,
It started to connect, And then you start to get insight, which is you connect, so everything's connecting, but then you start to see, you get a light bulb here, and then you also get a light bulb down here. So then you're like, okay, like everything is meant to be this way, right? And then you get wisdom, which again is like a whole other thing. And you start to, so the light bulb here and here actually links, and the wisdom is is the link in between. And And then you get conspiracy theories.
That is sick. For anyone that's listening, the conspiracy theory, all these different diagrams have been dots and the different way you can connect them. And the conspiracy theory one is just all the dots, and they've used the dots to draw a unicorn.
And it's hilarious. It's literally one of my favorites. And I think the reason why is because people get data and they tend to, and then they get information. I think there is quite a lot of information happening in this day and age. Probably like, 200 years ago, there was probably a lot of information, just different information, and not as advanced technology. But I think knowledge, insight, wisdom just kind of get a little bit lost, and we go straight to this like, okay, let's just draw this unicorn out of nothing. And I'm not saying that conspiracy theorists aren't relevant or real, and they're a thing. However, I don't think that we should miss our knowledge, our insight, our wisdom, because we are so capable of that as human beings. Our brain works very fast. Yeah. And we can obtain these things without just, not everything needs to be a repost. Like, it would be so great to hear people's opinions. Yeah. Which is, one of the reasons why you're doing this, I'm sure, is to hear that. And
that's like one of my biggest things.
It's your
like,
big thing.
I'm sick of... I mean, also it's like I have a lot of conversations with people online who can type well. And I think a lot of people... I wrote a status about this ages ago. I don't know if anyone fucking listens to my statuses, but like...
I love your statuses, mate.
But it's like people... Like, part of the problem with statuses is like people don't write as well as they think they do, or read as well as they think they do. So a lot of times when people are, and that's not in a insulting way, because some people just, it's not their thing as much. But some people will write statuses and it's like you think you're sharing your opinion, but you're saying it in like a not a great way, and then they get into an argument on Facebook, and it's like if you had this conversation in real life, this wouldn't be as volatile.
Think it'd be happening. Yeah.
So part of this for me is like, let's just talk. Not saying that that's us, but like, us talking in real life is going to bring out more nuance and more understanding.
Real time does something. It really does something. Yeah. So I think information and using all those things are very important. Yeah.
But don't you find it's hard that like, I feel like to really have an opinion at the moment, you have to be like degree level educated in like science and stuff, because some people are like,
I think so, dude.
Oh, well, what about this? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm not, like, I don't think so. Like, either way, like, it's like some people are saying like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world and everybody's gonna die, and I'm like, well, I don't know, because I didn't study these things.
I don't know. I'm not. I
kind of have to trust the experts.
I'm not an epidemiologist.
Exactly,
like, basically.
But then the other people are like, the other side is like, oh, the government are lying to us. It's all fine. We should just go out. And I'm like, well, that I don't know, because I haven't studied it. I don't know.
I'm not a politician.
I'm just a dancer.
But I just like to move. I like to dance, mate.
But then it's like, this is what I think the big problem is at the moment, is like, so who do we trust then? Because I am very for like science, and I think it's like, I don't believe that like scientists are lying to us to like put microchips in our bodies and stuff. But at the same time, I do think the government's done a shit job. So I mean,
who do I trust? The trust lies within you doing the research, understanding, maybe looking at like history as well, because history is a massive part. For example, in the 1800s, there was the plague, which was also a pandemic. There have been pandemics before, and I think that this feels like a new wave in our generation, which it is a new wave in our generation. However, humanity, the world has been going for more than we have, and we probably won't see what's going to happen on the other side in 200 years either. So I think history is very important. I think science is important. Politics too, absolutely. But these things don't make us a historian, a scientist, or a politician.
That's some bars. Just reading about it doesn't mean you know more.
Oh, come on. Like, it takes years for these people.
Do you think also, like, this is not where I expected this conversation to go, but like, do you think also, like, people don't trust that and trust the idea of an expert. Because before I feel like it's
I think people do because they're worried about because like you said, the government has been doing a shit job.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if this is a new wave in our generation, then what do we expect from the government as well? Like, what would we like? What would, you know, they're also dealing with the same thing that we're all, again, like we said at the beginning, we're all underneath the same umbrella. So, and we are, at the end of the day, we are all human and we're all trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, that's an important thing to say.
It's so important.
I think there's a lot of people that, I mean, I'm always being judgmental with this sort of stuff. But, but I feel like there's a lot of people that I know that are very like, or that I've seen online or whatever, that are very like the type of people who would say like, oh, we all need to, you know, forgive each other and we all need to understand each other. But at the same time, fuck Boris. And it's like,
I don't get it. Right.
Which is like, okay,
right.
but yeah, like,
right. Like, yeah, cool. Fuck things if you want to.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for all the fucking.
Yeah.
However, like, if you're going to state that and you're going to say that you're compassionate and kind and an open-minded person,
you have to extend that to...
I would surely I'd agree you would extend that to things that you don't quite know, and you would give someone the benefit of the doubt, basically.
I had this conversation with Kashmir on the podcast actually about talking about men and like humiliating each other and that type of thing. And it's like, in the same way that we want to protect each other's like mental health and stuff, we have to extend the same. Here's the best way I can think to describe this. Yeah. If you have an argument with someone, like, let's say if I have an argument with someone who's black and I resort to racist comments, insults, right? Because I'm angry. That means I'm racist. It's not, because I was angry, I used
100%.
Right.
Yeah, you're moving mad.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter the context. It's like you use those things when you got angry, so that means there's something underlying.
So that means
because even like, and this is now like the real me is like, even when I'm the most angry, I wouldn't think to go, even if I've wanted to hurt people's feelings before.
You just wouldn't.
And I've never thought to be racist. I'm like, but that's not how you hurt someone's feelings. Let me talk about something else. So I think with this sort of stuff, it's like, if you have to, how do I say this? Like, if you're really a thing, like if you're compassionate, if you're understanding, if you don't believe that, like, you know, if you're not racist, whatever it is, you must also extend that to the people you don't like. And that's what I think shows that. And then I was talking to Kashmir about, you know, when people like make fun of Trump based on his like physiology, like, oh, he's fat or this or that.
Yeah, his hair, his skin.
Right. It's like even if you think he's a problematic asshole, if you don't believe that being fat is an insult, then why are you using it? I don't believe being black is an insult, so I would never use that as an insult to someone. So I feel like it's the same with these other things when it's like, you know, you're like, oh, I'm understanding of people and that type of thing, but not when it's someone that I don't like. Or which someone who's saying something that I don't like.
That's the part for me. So I've been reading this book called How to Think by Alan Jacobs.
Interesting.
And it's, there's loads of books about psyche and how to think. And, you know, there are many different, this is just one that I picked up. It was recommended from a book I was reading before. So I tried it out and I'm nearly done, but he talks about how we surround ourselves with like-minded and like-hearted people.
Nice.
And how that is important for us. That's important for our growth. That makes us feel good as well. It also just, it boosts the ego a little bit when you're in comparison with someone and it works and there's things that correlate. It's great. However, what he does touch upon as well is that we also do need to be with people that are not like-minded and not like-hearted.
It's the echo chamber thing.
It's the echo chamber. And it's also, and with those people, he said, I'm sure you can talk about the things that you don't like about each other, but I am pretty positive that you will find some commonality within you because you are both human.
Agreed.
You both probably like bananas if that's the least thing we can find. there is some sort of commonality. So with Trump, with Boris, with all the government and the everything happening, I think, yes, there are parts where I do find are pretty shit and handled with...
And frustrating.
And frustrating and annoying. We're getting different signals. We're getting mixed messages as a society. I agree. However, imagine you being in that position.
Yeah.
Basically. And imagine you trying to rule a country.
And I think also the thing is what I've seen people saying is that like the scientific process is like happening in real time. So they're learning, and I'm guilty of this as well because I get pissed and I'm like, oh, we fucking just had this and now we can't do the fuck this. Yeah, I want to hang out with my friends.
I just want to go out.
So I do it as well. But I think it's worth at least keeping in mind if it's not something that you like. It's not to say that it's fine what they're doing, but I think it's you try something, it didn't work, and then
honestly, dude,
you try something else.
Trial and error, man.
I mean, I think to play both sides, the idea that they told us to eat out to help out and then blamed us for going out is a bit ridiculous.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about they tried something didn't work.
Exactly. And I think we all do that in life. Like we all try shit out and we see if it works or not. That's probably how like some of the biggest businesses have happened. Amazon, Facebook, like these things were tried.
Do you think if they were more transparent and just said, we fucked up, do you think that people would trust them a bit more?
I'm not sure.
Because do you feel like the government and whoever the experts are feel like they have to pretend that this was the plan all along?
I do. I feel like, personally, the government, a lot of government does the whole, I need to do this for the people.
Yeah.
But I don't know where their opinion lies mostly. And I'm not sure if they actually believe what they're saying sometimes.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's like for the public. But that is also, if you want to get into politics, my G's, it's got to be for the people.
Yeah, right.
So that again, like I think it's good to just weigh the options. And what we're doing now is seeing both sides.
Yeah.
And I think there's a beauty in that. When you become so sure about one side and so sure that this is happening, that's what makes me question somebody.
100%.
That's what makes me question someone.
I am suspicious of anyone that thinks they know
everything
or anything. It's like no one fucking knows anything.
No one knows anything.
And I'm very much like, especially in these debates and conversations that I've had with people, I've been very much on the scientific side. Even if I'm not a scientist, I believe in that.
Absolutely.
But not because I'm like, no conspiracies have ever come true. Like, of course, a lot of conspiracies have happened and a lot of things that you're saying could be true. But the purpose of science is, or the let's say the drive behind science is, we don't have a fucking clue.
Oh my God.
Let's do some tests and find out.
So it's the best. So I mean, isn't science trial and error as well?
Yeah, and them say like no scientist claims to know everything. They're just like, based on every single test we have,
this is what we can show you. This is the evidence.
Yeah.
Here. Take it or leave it, up to you. But you can draw the unicorns.
I get slightly stressed. Anyone that knows me will laugh at this, but I get slightly stressed because it's like, for example, people are like, 5G causes coronavirus. Yes. And then science goes, well, based on overwhelming trial and error and all the tests we've done. It's like, no, it doesn't. Like, not that it doesn't, but based on all the tests we've done, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then people, because I believe that, people call me a sheep. And I'm like, but you just accepted that. Someone at some point said, hey, did you know 5G causes coronavirus? And they went, okay, I believe that now.
Bah.
And I'm the sheep. Like,
so it's interesting because aren't we all sheeps then? If we so you could take it as that. You could say, aren't we all sheeps? If we hear a piece of information and we believe in it, does that make me a sheep?
Yeah.
Or does that make us all sheep?
I guess also it depends who you hear it from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or are we just normal human beings and just let's not call us sheeps and you believe in what you believe in.
Exactly.
Done. You know, like life is always so much more simpler than I think a lot of people make it out to be. And I'm not saying that everyone is like this at all, But I do think that simplicity works in our favor as human beings, because our brains are quite complicated and we do have the capacity to get quite lost within that. So I do think simplicity works very well. When we strip things back, we can go, yeah, that makes more sense.
And I think also, like what you were saying, like looking at it from a human aspect of like people that are under the same umbrella. And because I feel like I'm quite, with all of this and in general, I'm quite judgmental in the sense of I make pretty harsh, quick decisions on who I like or don't like.
Right.
If I want to be around someone, I'm a bit like, nah, fuck that person. Immediately fuck that person. But at the same time, like, I'm not judgmental about your right to feel that way, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like a great example of this is like TikTok, right? Yes. I hate TikTok.
Yes.
It fucking cringes me out. And I think it's fucking like, I'm like, oh, you losers. I really feel like, I'm like, even when I see like good dancers do it, I feel like, you fucking losers.
What are you doing? Yeah.
But on the flip side, I would fight for your right to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So do you know what I mean? It's like, if
100%.
I'm like, I actually kind of feel like I'm almost rooting for them. I'm like, you keep going even though I think you're a loser.
Do that tick and that talk, my G.
Because I'm just like, you know, it's like,
But it might have been someone that was our older generation that like Facebook.
Yeah, it's all that. It's
hate it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like
they'll still root for the right of Facebook.
Yeah, and it's
at
like,
the end of the day, it is what
my
it is.
opinions and I'm come from a certain perspective and a certain
background, upbringing. There are so many factors to take in.
And but my thing is like, all right, you're just, if I look at it from, like you said, like simplify it.
Yes.
You're a human that's enjoying what you're doing, probably making money, probably advertising yourself. Great. Like, yo, do your thing. I would never discourage someone from doing it.
Yeah.
I also reserve the right to think you're a loser.
Absolutely. And you
do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is here is that you both have the right. Yeah. So you can stand there and argue about it.
Yeah.
Or you can just go about your days and carry on doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So the energy, it's where your energy is spent and where you put your energy, because it's the same kind of thing that I've said during this whole time. It's like where you put your energy and where you place your energy. You can sit and have an argument with someone and shout at someone over something that means something to you, which I'm not going to say is not valid, but I would say that also you can spend your time doing something really productive, still being angry at that thing or that person, but finding the resources to make it so that you're one up.
Yeah, and I think also it depends on depending on what we're talking about. It's like,
it all depends.
What are you angry about necessarily? Because it's like, for me, say with something like TikTok, it's just like, I'm not angry at people using the platform. I just find it a bit cringy to watch.
It's cringy, yeah.
So, but it's like, I don't think it shouldn't be a thing. Or it's also a parallel argument when people talk about like real hip hop and stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't like this new school stuff. It's like, is it not your taste, or is it shit? Because people say, oh, this person's shit, and it's like, well, they're not shit. They're just not what you like, and that's different.
It's like Poundland and Tesco's, or right? So it's like, okay, cool. You might think like Poundland, I'm never going to get my shit from there. Yeah. However, I might benefit. Do you know what it is as well? A lot of things is beneficial as well.
We're moving on to the Desperados,
people. Desperados. A lot of things are, I think when you look at life at what is beneficial for you, I think that's what's going to help you.
Agreed.
So I might say, well, hey, Tesco's is shit. The value for things are rubbish. I could have spent this and this on. I could have spent about 5 items in Poundland, and you only walked out with 2. Yeah. It's just.
But also, then it's like, I think it's also considering other people's experiences and not just basing everything on yours, because this applies for me to all of those, like the TikTok thing, the rap and hip hop thing, and then the Poundland and Tesco's thing. It's like, if I'm like person as, oh, Poundland's fucking shit, blah blah, I have not lived in the experience of a very poor single mother. A very poor single mother might have her like whole experience saved by Poundland.
There you go.
And it's like same with TikTok. Like, I might hate it in the sense that I don't want to watch it or I don't want to be on it really, even though I know I'm shooting myself in the foot I could potentially be getting more business and stuff.
You could be.
But I'm not saying like because I've heard people that say, oh, it should be shut down and stuff. And I'm like,
I've heard that too.
but you, like, that's what I mean. Like, as much as I hate TikTok, if there was a petition to shut it down, I would, or to keep it on, I would sign that. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it should be a platform.
Yeah.
And if lots of people are benefiting.
Why can we not have TikTok and have Instagram stories or bloody, what's the other thing called? See, I'm rubbish with all this stuff. The other wherever Instagram took the stories.
Reels.
Snapchat. Snapchat.
There we go.
That's the way.
God, is that
terrible.
So old? What's this?
What is this? Grey hairs coming through me.
Snapchat,
Snapchat, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah. I was never into Snapchat as well. I realized the benefits when it came onto Instagram, however.
Yeah.
But I never got it, but again, I just wouldn't say, hey, like, this needs to absolutely stop now. Why could we have that and have Facebook? Or
because you're only thinking about from your own perspective.
Exactly. And there's a lot of that basically with the pandemic, with movements, all the movements that's happened.
Yeah.
With anything really, it's so easy to say that's dead and judge on somebody else's lifestyle, but you don't know what they've been through, how they've grown up, their experience. There are just too many factors to put in. And you can say that that's dead because judging is definitely innate as well. Yeah. But I think when you overjudge, it becomes...
Or at least understand, like, I feel like I'm getting into a pretty good space of understanding my judgment. I didn't used to.
That's a good point.
I used to be like, oh, I thought I didn't like that person or I didn't this or that. And it's like, now I understand that it's like, oh, I just don't want to be around you.
Yeah,
like,
I hear that.
I'm happy for you to live your life over there. And I would like defend your freedom to act the way you're acting. Like, even if we're just talking like annoying people or something. It's like
just little things.
If someone else was like wanted to infringe on your rights to be fucking annoying or talk shit on social media or whatever you're doing that's pissing me off, I'd be like, no, let them do it. But I'm gonna block you.
Well, I just
don't want to be around you.
I'm choosing to stay over here.
Yeah. And I think like understanding that your judgment is based on like you don't like what I was saying about the rap thing. Like the judgment is you don't like that type of music. It's not that it's not real hip hop. And I mean, this is a whole nother conversation because
that's a whole
One of the things I was talking about is like I can't remember if I said this on the pod or not. I have to start remembering shit I've said now. It's weird.
You just
start repeating myself. Yeah. Before I could just repeat myself all the time and no one would know.
And now you're like, oh shit, I'm 24 in.
Yeah. But it's like if, for example, like I know English white people that say that like certain things are not real hip hop. And I'm like, so you're telling like a kid in New York who's struggling and who's making music what his culture should or shouldn't be because you grew up listening to NWA.
To Biggie.
etc. And now you can say, this Little Tecca or I don't know, whoever, like all of these people are not real hip hop. I don't know why I first went to Little Tecca. That's such a random person.
Come through, Little Tecca. I don't even know who Little Tecca is.
He's actually quite legit.
Come through. Liddy.
Yeah.
Liddy.
But he's like one of the new young artists. But like any of these people that are like new, you're saying they're not real hip hop, but it's like they're from the culture.
Yeah.
And they're from the demographic that created this shit. So
also,
who's to say
things evolve?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Things change.
But for me, it's just going back to that idea of like, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes before you make these judgments. It's like, it's fully valid to be like, oh, I don't like anything. But,
hell yeah.
But golden era hip hop. Yeah.
Let me know that. That's blessed. But if we can talk about it, that's cool. We can have a debate. Yeah. We don't even have to talk about it as well. Yeah. Like, I am more than happy to not talk about it if you feel like that's a trigger or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
I'm like that about star signs. I'm like, what's it going? What's your opinion? We haven't spoken about this.
Star signs, we haven't, have we?
Go on, are you into them?
I used to be.
Yeah.
Massively. I used to be very spiritual and everything meant something.
Yeah, right.
However, I have lost that.
Damn. I have lost all my faith.
All my
the
hope
star signs didn't say anything about
everything.
Corona. No corona on the star signs.
Yeah. No, I think I still do hold a sense of emotion and feeling. And if I feel like the space feels like it's a good energy, I can tap into that 100%. And I can really, I do like reaching meditative states.
Okay.
However, I don't think that you should base or judge somebody on the day that they were born.
It's so ridiculous to me. And this is where I'm like, okay, like this is the going back to the judgment thing of like, I would fight for someone's right to be able to talk about star signs, but just don't talk about them with me. Like, because this is the thing when people are like, there's a lot of things in that realm that I'm like, and again, people that know me will be laughing at this, but like, I hate this shit. Where it's like, I don't understand that how someone thinks that the day and the month that you're born dictates your personality. I don't understand. I actually understand religion more than star signs.
Yes, me
like
too.
I understand
Me
the
too,
idea
me
that
too,
like
me too.
an all-powerful being created shit
Me
and
too.
gave us missions in life, and I'm like, well,
even though that's still very questionable.
I'm not religious at all, and
No,
I find that
same.
wild.
Yes.
But
the star sign thing.
it's like, why would the planet being in that place change how I?
Yeah.
And maybe some people are like, oh, he's being ignorant, but I don't understand how that's a thing.
Well, I mean, I think I get like maybe the season. I think that's where, as far as I can maybe go, is when you are born, maybe the season and your birth, you know, the day of your birth is a special day for sure.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's going to be the amount of times you're here on this planet. And maybe the season, it being winter, might affect you as a baby. I'm pulling this out of the
just
thin
random
air right now. But maybe you taking walks in the pram and seeing, you know, everything that you see as a kid, you're developing. And
you're soaking in stuff that you don't know.
in things.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, you taking a walk in the autumn and you're seeing these leaves, and that might add something.
That is a good point.
Or maybe the winter could affect that child and it be very, very cold, and they're always in hats. And maybe just that I can see, and I can maybe
it's interesting
because
one thing that my this might feed in. One thing my therapist told me was that when you're a kid, I think she used to work with, I don't know, in the scientific field. I haven't. She doesn't talk about herself much. Funny that. She's always interested in me. She's like, your problems are more pressing than mine. But she was saying that when you're a kid, your emotional memory develops before your whatever the actual memory is.
Yeah.
So things that maybe you don't remember happening have an effect on you emotionally.
Absolutely. I think so. I think I do think so. Yeah. And I think there are definitely things that we happen emotionally when we're younger that we tend to maybe just block or we don't really remember. So I'm, as far as star signs go, I can maybe get the season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe the summer, like you see the sun constantly.
But to the day, to the fact that, you know, I mean, this year there's a new star sign that's come in, apparently. No way.
And it just makes me laugh because it's like, okay, well, you can just add in whatever you want, guys, and make it this drawing unicorns thing. But like, how far do you want to take it, basically? And I think like, I'm not going to condemn anyone that, you know, I mean, I wouldn't like if somebody sat there and said, oh, you're a Virgo, so you're this.
Yeah,
I'd say I'm none of those things, actually.
Or like, oh, we're not going to get on.
We're not going to get on. Or it's like, I'd rather you not prejudge me for that because I've definitely been through my own experience. Definitely been through my own experience.
Like, this is how this might put in perspective how against it I am.
Yeah.
I am really, I don't know if triggered is the right word, but I just don't like sentences that begin with men are or women are.
Oh, I hate it.
I'm like,
I hate it because it's too general.
How can you?
Too general.
There's 7 billion people on the planet.
It.
I don't know what the percentages are, but there's a few billion of us that are men.
Yeah.
But we all can't multitask.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
It's
like
bad. It's a bad way of thinking, I think. Yeah. And I don't think it's the reason why I think it's bad is because it's not beneficial. And I walked into a store yesterday even, and there was a girl that she was getting something. She was just quite loud in Elephant and Castle, and she's just like, yeah, no, men can't do it, man. Men can't do it. And I was just like, woo.
There's so few sentences that begin with men or women are, aren't, can't, can, that I agree with. It's like, it has to be really, like, if it's like men can't have babies, cool. Yeah, there we can agree. And then
production.
Then we can talk about the transsexual.
But then argument. We can talk about that. Exactly.
So even then, it's like you can't say that.
Exactly. So let's not generalize things.
I don't understand how people.
Let's maybe just think a little bit more about everybody. Yeah.
How can you put a personal like a personality type or a set of qualities on because like I've heard so many people say, oh, women can't sleep around because they get attached and men can do it, and based on some fucking loose biology. I have
no idea where that came from.
Oh, because when we were cavemen, we used to bang all the girls, and it's like, listen,
I have no idea where
based on what evidence, mate? Because I know plenty of girls who are unattached, sleeping around, and I know plenty of guys that are in their feelings, like, but this girl didn't call me back, and it's like, you can come to any conclusion you want if you just look at the evidence that works for you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
or you can just deal with every situation individually, because that's where you're going to get your real judgment and your real facts. Is, like we said, it depends what we're talking about. It depends who you're talking about. It depends what situation that is. It depends the dynamic of the relationship.
Of course.
Like, everything depends on that situation. And that's why it's really, I think it's just more beneficial and probably easier and more simpler to base those things just in the moment.
Because if someone said to me, in my experience, the women I've slept with have not been able to have casual sex.
There we go.
Accepted. Like, fucking sentence accepted. Like, but it's just when, women can't do that. It's like, okay, men can't multitask. Oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm currently doing 12 things while I'm talking to you, so shut the fuck up. Like, it's so dumb.
And it's been proven to me so many times that everyone is just so different.
Yeah. And this is why the stars, the reason I said that was like the star signs thing is like, oh, because I'm a Libra, which I am, which doesn't fucking matter, but because I'm a Libra, and the podcast is different when I'm a few drinks in.
I like it.
Yeah. We do shots next time. Yeah. No, but because like, oh, I'm a Libra, that means that I'm like this, and this, and this, and this. And it's like you said about prejudging me. It's like, every Libra is like me? Like,
okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, cool. So we all grew up the same. So we all had the same parents. So we all know.
What I find interesting about the star signs and that type of thing is I read, Darren Brown, right?
Yes.
I read his book ages ago. And he was, because he's not a magician in that sense. Like, he's an illusionist.
I see him more as an illusionist, yeah. And playing on it's like social experiments he does.
Yes, in a way, yeah. Like he plays on like things that are inherent to us as humans. And I went to see him live, actually. It was sick.
Wicked.
But in his book, he was talking about horoscopes and star signs, and it's the same as psychics, what they do. And what he was saying is the way that they the way that they do it is I can't remember the name of the thing. Also, on the subject of the book you were reading, I've got a book called The Art of Thinking Clearly.
See,
it's fire.
We
One of my
should
favorite
exchange books. When I'm done with it, I'll send that to you. You give that to me.
In that book as well as Darren Brown.
Let's do that.
I think it's here
okay. Wicked.
somewhere.
That can be my Malta read.
Yes.
So before
fire.
I go, okay, wicked.
So he basically, in the Darren Brown book and The Art of Thinking Clearly, they're talking about this thing where you write a list of opposing sentences. So I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but for example, I would say to you like, oh, you're quite a quiet person, but you can be loud when you need to be. Right. And what you do in that situation is focus more on the one that applies to you.
Right.
So if you're a quiet person, you go, yeah, that's true, I am a quiet person.
Right.
If you're a loud person, you go, yeah, I can be loud when I want to be.
Right.
So they say both sides in one sentence, and you apply the part that suits you to yourself without even realizing. So, and they said, this is what horoscopes do. So if you read a horoscope, a lot of the techniques that they use and a lot of what psychics do, apparently, they will say, you are going to have a great day, which may be interrupted or something like that, right? And
absolutely.
then at the end of the day, you say, oh, I did have a great day. My horoscope was right. Or you say, oh, it was interrupted. So they do this the whole way through. And like they said with psychics, like they do a similar thing. And yeah, he was basically saying this is what people kind of see as like, and they did experiments where they did this and then they gave it to all different students and told them it was their horoscope and it was the same one for everyone. And they all said it was accurate and that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
like, I mean, yeah, it's the same with a psychic or... Yeah, them telling everyone that. I mean, I can imagine some psychics have just probably said the same thing to all of their clients. Like, it could have happened.
And the conversation I've had with a few people is like, their pushback on this has been, but don't you think there's like more to the universe than what we perceive and stuff like that?
Right.
Which I 100% do.
Yeah.
I think there's a million things that we haven't discovered yet.
So many things we don't know. Yeah.
Even like
bloody amazing.
I don't think that there's, for example, I don't think that there's no God or there's no higher power. I think there's no evidence for a higher power. That's different. And it's like, not that we could never find it, but right now everything that we know points to the fact that there isn't one.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't even know what my point was. I think the difference is that, yes, this is what going back to what I was saying about anyone that thinks they know something, because
yes. Yeah.
My side is basically like the best place I can put my trust is in people that have studied this, whatever the topic is, for years and are doing the tests.
Yeah.
So when people say like, oh, I believe this thing, like I believe in God or I believe in star signs or whatever it is, I'm like, the best I can accept from you is this is what I think might be the case. When you tell me there is this, star signs do apply to us. It's like you're talking in certainties.
Yeah,
and
it's
none of us know anything.
It's too sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is when somebody says to me, you know, this is what's going to happen, and they're like, but actually, I'm not sure. It could also be that. Then I feel like I can trust that person more, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like
basically
opinions are fine and needed, like you said.
Yeah,
and you're allowed to believe what you want to believe, but I think it's when you say this is the thing,
the certainty. Certainty makes me just
certainty stresses me out.
Yeah.
you know what one that annoys me is when I don't know where you stand on this, so I'm taking a risk, but like when people talk about the moon influencing you.
Oh yeah,
because
that's another one.
That is another one for me. Because for me,
over the past year, for me, I've just started to go.
Yeah,
hold on a minute. Guys.
You know what's funny is because the justification people use for that is that we are however much % water and the moon affects water.
Yeah.
On the surface, that's a valid argument.
Yeah, I see the surface 100%.
But there's two things that piss me off. It's the moon thing, and the word retrograde.
Yes.
That shit stresses me out. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So first of all, the thing with the water is that from all experiments done, the moon only has an effect on huge bodies of water. So like your glass of water doesn't move because of the moon,
sweetheart. But the sea, however, it's much percent of the world. Yeah, it's a vast percentage of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to say
ridiculous.
75% above.
Well, the sea itself is like another planet, isn't it? It's like there's like creatures down there that we don't even freaking know. This
is a separate conversation, but this is why I'm scared of the fucking water. Like Jen makes fun of me because I'm scared of the sea.
But because it's another planet, dude. That is alien. That is UFOs.
When I heard the fact that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the bottom of the sea,
wild.
And I'm like, you want me to swim?
That shit's
You want
wild.
me to swim in the middle of the sea? No, fuck that.
That shit's wild. Like that shit's amazing.
I'm like, yeah, no, like.
But how incredible is that it just goes to show that we don't know shit,
Yeah,
guys.
truth. We don't even know about the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, the bottom of the bloody sea, but we swim in it.
That's true.
But we don't know. We have
There's
no
a quote in there somewhere.
idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you. I think your emotions are dependent on you. And I think like I said at the beginning of this, it just is so clear that you have the choice and the power to to show or design your life, basically. Yeah. And I think, yes, external things do come. And sometimes something hits you and you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened there? I'm emotionally a wreck. Yeah. And I don't know how to deal with this. But it's about what you do after that and where you go and the choices that you make after that, basically, because everything is choice. And you saying that the moon fucked up your mood that day is a choice to me.
And I think also it's like it puts the well, I mean, I think that for me, this is the whole thing with religion and stuff. It's like it puts the blame or the responsibility on someone else. Yeah. It's like, oh, it wasn't me. It's because I'm a Libra.
Because...
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you were really rude to that person in the shop. Oh, you know me, I'm a Virgo. Yeah. Oh, go fuck yourself. You were rude.
Mate, you were rude. That's it.
Or you were in a bad mood or whatever. It's like, don't give me the, I'm a with fire.
Well, let's not deter from the actual choice that you made.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You decided to be rude at that time. And even though it might have been impulsive, that's okay. Like sometimes we are rude and sometimes we all make mistakes and we make bad choices and we make good choices, right? And that's what I think the world is full of, is bad choices and good choices. Not necessarily good people and bad people, to be honest. Because I think good people have made bad choices and I think bad people have made very good choices too.
I think there's something to be... Let's not talk about this now, but I'm just going to say this. I think... a large percentage of the time there's not bad people, there's more mentally ill people.
Agreed. Bro.
I think anyone that I've seen that is or heard about or any of these like serial killers how many of them have just like
are they genuinely like, do they have the devil in them? Is that what evil? We're saying? What is evil? Yeah, how far does that go?
Because if you think about mental health and it's like, oh, but you don't understand. Like for someone to have to, like, for example, like one of these murders where they like chop someone up and put them in the foot. Yeah. You're detached from reality. That's absolutely not evil. That's mental health. That doesn't
mean that like the devil is in their veins. It just means that this person is completely detached and needs some help.
And like, if you think about like, and this is definitely like
none of us are born. None of us are born.
But what is evil in that sense?
An evil person or a bad person. But that is exactly my question. So when people do state things and they say this person's just, for example, Trump. And as much as I don't like the guy, I feel the hate and I think it's too intense personally. And I think like, as much as you say this person's an evil-blooded, satanic, etc., all the words, which go for gold if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sure, you have the right to do that. However, what does it mean? Where does evil lie? And what makes you evil? What are the things? I mean, we could talk about Hitler even. We could go to Hitler and say this guy was not okay. But again, like you're saying, that is a mental health issue.
Yeah, mental health and ignorance. Because a lot of time, even stuff like racism and stuff like that comes down to ignorance.
It comes down to ignorance. I think you not knowing.
Trevor Noah, I think, was saying that like racism, I'm going to fuck this up, but like that racism basically doesn't survive contact. Like if you take a racist and put him in a very diverse, like London, for example, live there for 5 years, probably you won't be racist after that. Like change. As soon as it's usually when you're ignorant to the people, you can make judgments from afar and no one's going to challenge.
I agree. But then that's also like, okay, but if this person is ignorant, you have to kind of, not you have to, I don't want to tell anyone they have to do shit, but what might be more beneficial, instead of you layering and calling them all the insulting things underneath the sun, maybe just take that moment and go, where am I? Okay, I'm in like Canberra Sands or something. Yeah. And I actually have had racial discrimination in Canberra Sands with Ivan Blackstock.
I was like, Canberra Sands is too random to not be based on a real experience. I was like, the way you just popped out with Canberra Sands.
Yeah, I was like, Canberra Sands.
If anyone that is listening that doesn't know where that is, it's like a seaside village.
Yeah, seaside village, about 2 hours away from London. I did a shoot with Jen Nkuru, who directed Black is King as well, and I worked with Ivan. and assisting Black is King too. And we actually did a shoot before that, and we experienced it just wasn't nice, basically. And we were just trying to do our makeup or something, and they just like completely turfed us. And I don't think it was because we were doing our makeup, basically.
What do you mean, like someone?
In a nutshell,
what did they do?
They just came with that just negative energy instantly, and we're just like, who are you guys, what are you doing? We're like, we're literally here for like 2 minutes gonna do our makeup.
Where were you in?
It was like there were some benches and it was a cafe, and the cafe was closed, so we just sat on the benches because there was nowhere else for us to
Outdoors.
It was about it was sunrise. It was sunrise outdoors. So not like, I think the benches might have been a part of the cafe.
Yeah, but like you weren't trespassing.
But we weren't trespassing.
Yeah.
Everyone was calm and collected. We were all Black people or coloured people. And I just don't think they liked that. And that is what I felt.
To 100%. Them, it looked
100%.
Suspicious or something.
100%, that's what I felt. How they didn't, there was no slurs. There was no racial slurs.
It's just the intention.
It was just the intention was like, I don't know you, man.
Yeah.
Get off my property. And it was
Which
like...
is very British racism.
It's very British racism. It's not to your face compared to like US or anywhere else. It's a little bit more, you know. But this was like... I can feel this intention behind, and I don't like it. And Ivan was like, cool, let's just move, because he just wasn't down. We're there professionally as well to shoot a video.
Yeah.
But some of the other guys were a bit like, what, bruv? And, you know, again, that's a British thing as well, to kind of defend your part. And we went through that, and it was strange. It was like, okay, this is weird. But over, you know, this, I think we did this 3 years ago. And over the course of 3 years, honestly, it's made me think, and it's made me go, okay, but these people, okay, Cambersan. Okay, firstly, where were we? Cambersans. Cool. These people have barely any coloured people around them.
Yeah.
They are, you know, okay, what time was it? Like 6, 7 in the morning, sunrise. Okay, they're not open yet. Maybe there is something. Like, there were all these other factors that I had to deep, basically, and had to take into account before I start feeling like aggressive or impulsive. Because at the end of the day, yes, that wasn't a good situation and it wasn't kind. But there are other things we can't, like you said, we just can't expect other people to understand us or what we have been through as an individual. We can't expect the rest of the UK to be like London, basically. Yeah. And it's a shame, because we obviously have a lot to do with growth, and we want to build, you know, we want the world to be the best world it can be. Yeah. But hey, like, where a lot of things are growth, and just like you can't eradicate the person that loves star signs, it's hard to eradicate someone that actually might be a racist. I mean, these are questions that have been coming in, and it's like, okay, we can again and again. It's like you can shout and yell at this person, but also you can go over there. And what we were doing that day was doing a video celebrating Blackness, nowness. It was all about that. And so instead of us going back to them, we just shot what we shot, and we've got something amazing out of that. Yeah. So where your energy lies is so important to me. Yeah, I think probably, like, obviously you already know this, but more for the listeners, but like, I think maybe the problem comes in that it's like, especially being like a Black person, especially in England or wherever, like, you're the ones that always have to take the higher road. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Man. It's like, what you're saying, the bigger man is beautiful, whatever. But I wish that they had that mentality. Absolutely. They had the thing of like, absolutely, this looks suspicious. Wait, hold on, I don't know you. Yeah. Let's understand each other. Yeah. But to be honest, I just think that there's a lot of that's not there. And it just instantly, I think because I think because there's like there's just constant war.
Yeah.
There's just one side and the other side. It's like, well, hey, I'm not going to understand you and you're never going to understand me, which is okay.
Yeah.
And I think once we accept that we're not fully going to understand each other sometimes, and we're not fully going to accept some of the things that other people do, then we can move forward, you know? But yeah, I do agree with you. And I think it is a hardship that a lot of people have to take on, whether you're mixed, coloured, black, whatever. It's still the part where you have to almost be the bigger man. But I do feel like there is some sort of knowledge and wisdom within being the bigger man, and you're sharing that to people. Like, they shouted at us and we just was like, cool.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that showed them that we were not hostile. We weren't the things that you expected us to be at all.
Yeah.
And like, I do sometimes think back on it and I'm like, I wish I said like, hey, and just in a really calm tone, like, and just spoke to them and said it would be really good if you didn't prejudge people before you saw them. Because sometimes people need to hear that as well. And I'm just not sure if everything needs to be loud and aggressive, basically.
This is very true. This is good.
So yeah, simplicity, stripping things back. And sometimes it's so hard in the moment.
Like,
sometimes
empathy,
it's so
I think,
hard.
is important.
Oh my gosh, it's so important.
Understanding the other person's side and where they're coming from. I mean, I get, the race thing is a bit tough because sometimes you don't want to be empathetic. But
no, because you're just over it.
Yeah, and I think going back to like the Boris Johnson corona thing, like, yeah, maybe we can afford them a little bit more empathy. Like, there's also some things that you're like, yeah, no, you don't get the benefit.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
just
crap.
You just fucked up. Yeah, but I mean, this is like the name of 2020, but it's like balance is needed, man.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think we're losing the balance. So. It's like some people are wildly on one side, because we need something to trust, and people are like,
it's true.
Are like holding on to whatever they can rather than staying in the middle and just being like, right, well,
all right, well, let's
hear both sides.
Yeah, let me just keep understanding both. Yeah, like you have to.
And it's like, if there's
to get a whole outlook, you have to.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I don't know if this is the right analogy, but like when.
Can I go toilet?
Yo, I was gonna say, should we take a break and pee? All right, cool. Take a break now.
Break, pee, boom.
All right, guys, we're back. Sorry, we needed to pee. We've been drinking. We've been drinking.
The pee took over.
Should we go to the Malibu and Coke? Let's do it. Yeah, me and Robia are a little bit tipsy, and it's all good.
It's all good. Good conversation.
Yeah, this is the first podcast with a toilet break in the middle, but that's all good.
The first one where you're going to put a little picture up as well.
Yeah, I don't know what
I like this.
I'm gonna do a little
newness,
something in between.
I love it.
So anyway, but we basically spent an hour and didn't talk about anything dance related, which is fine. How's your dance life? Do you feel like where do you feel like you're at in your career? Do you feel like you've made it in a way? Do you feel like you've got objectives still left to achieve? Where are you?
I think that I have a sense of both at the moment.
Interesting.
I think I've definitely always have this feeling of like I've made it to somewhere.
Okay.
And not necessarily to an end goal or like the last thing I want to do before I die. But I've definitely felt like when you do something and you go through a period of time, whether it be creative or not, you do make it, man. You make it a bit. And I'd say that for anyone. And and then I also do feel like there's a sense of things that I'd still like to get done.
Of course, yeah.
And things that I'm still very interested in or happy to also just, happy to not know what else is happening as well.
And be a bit free with it.
Be quite free, and if something comes my way and I'm like, oh, that's nice, I'm gonna go for that.
Yeah, because I think people associate, especially like, let's say like dancers first starting out.
Yeah.
dancers that are first starting out think that maybe there is a making it, and that like that's, you know, I've got a friend, a good friend of mine actually, that like she's a really successful dancer. She was in Request crew, Paris Goebel's crew, and then she did she was on Janet Jackson's tour.
Cool, that's cool.
Gwen Stefani and someone else.
Right.
She's done loads of shit, Cardi B and all that.
Done the whole shebang.
And it's like, in a way, that's what everyone thinks making it is.
Yeah.
Which, yes,
in a way,
like she's made it. But also I think, and this is from me, not from her, but like I would assume that even booking Janet Jackson's world tour, you're not set for life in terms of money, first of all. And it's like, you still have to audition for new stuff. You still have to hustle a bit. You're not like, I don't know, like made it where you never have to worry again. And in terms of artistic goals, I would imagine, this is coming from someone who hasn't done any artist tours or anything like that, but I would imagine after the first few, you know, she did...
It gets a bit samey.
Yeah, and it's like, she did like Janet Jackson's, she did, let's say Gwen Stefani, and who else? Cardi B, she did a few shows. Her name's Alex, by the way. Shout out to Alex if you're ever listening.
Don't know.
Good friend of mine. But it's like, I would imagine that it's like, you go, okay, cool. Like, now I wanna choreograph for Janet, or now I wanna start my own this, or do my, you know, like, I don't feel like you ever get to one point where you're like, I'm done, you know, like, and I feel like in that way, as much as it, in that way, it makes me more appreciative of what I do have.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, well, if we never get to a point where we can be done, you know, and I feel like this with, like, even like probably Jay-Z doesn't feel like he's done. Do you know? He's like, new goals arrive.
Right.
So I kind of feel like in that way, I'm like, okay, then what is making it? For me is like making money off my art. And I'm like, for the last 2 years, I've been doing
You've been doing it. You've been making it, man.
Yeah, so it makes you feel like, oh yeah, I did fucking make it. You know what I mean? It gives you a sense of like...
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think there should be like a sense of reward for that.
And but balanced with, well, like what you said, there's still stuff I want to achieve.
Constant goals.
What's your like, where you're aiming for? What's the stuff that you would want to do that you haven't?
Ideally just more musicians. I really like music, so I'd love to work with more musicians.
In what context?
To create for their visuals.
Nice.
I'd like choreographically create. That is something that I'm just very intrigued in. I love music and dance and the correlation of it. However, I'm still very interested in doing my own movement programs, and I'm actually doing one in Malta in a few weeks.
Sick.
It'll be the first of many, I imagine.
Wonderful.
And it's kind of this, it's kind of about more, well, I love the fusion of contemporary and hip hop.
Nice.
And there's a lot of dancers that like that.
So
and choreographers that,
because I just saw the flyer and it looks mad interesting. So tell me about the concept of, or what was the like tagline and stuff?
So it's called The Space in Between, and it's basically the art of contemporary and hip hop and how much that's a grey area, basically.
In between them.
Yeah. And I think I'd like to get people to know how valid that grey area is, basically. Because, you know, I've been asked many a times, what's your style? What do you do? Where do you fit? Oh, you know, so you street dance? Oh, so so you do ballet? And it does become very, the first question that is asked normally when you say I'm a dancer is, so what kind of thing do you do?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are fusing things together now. Like, things are evolving, things are, coming out in different ways. And I think a lot of people do find tension. And I used to feel quite tense when people would be like, so what is it? Yeah. Like, you need it to say something. And I'd feel like, okay, well, I need to sit at home and like write all the styles and figure out what one I am.
Yeah, yeah.
But to be honest,
and then almost like the older I get,
the older I get, the more I'm like, hey, you can be all the styles if you really want to.
Well, if you think about it also, let's say something like with music.
Yes.
We don't, like, did you hear like Childish Gambino's last album? with like Redbone and stuff, and then like Tyler the Creator's
my
album.
favorite albums out there.
These are like hip hop artists, and I think this I might be
Tyler
talking out of my ass.
You right.
But like Tyler mentioned this about one of the award shows that they had, the urban category, and he was like, urban is just, you know, a way of saying is black music, you know, where it's like actually what he was doing in that last album, Tyler and Charles Gambino, I think this is the last album, is both of them. It wasn't rap anymore.
No.
And it's like,
no,
they don't necessarily, I mean, there's probably still the same pressures, but people like that, I associate with people like you.
Yeah.
Which is like,
absolutely.
and Tally as well, and people like that who are like, yes, your background and your influences are hip hop.
Hell yeah.
Also are contemporary, but are neither at the same time.
But are nothing as well.
Yeah, and that's valid. And like in the same way that
valid.
That Childish Gambino album was sick.
Yes.
I loved his old stuff when he was just straight rapping.
Same.
But that, and same with Tyler, like those albums were great. And it's because it's almost like they allowed themselves the artistic freedom to find, like you said, your grey area and explore it and build in that grey area where people go, oh no, I can't stay here. I have to choose or decide or, you know, move into one of the areas.
Exactly. And I think that's what I want to make very clear, is that the grey area, or even if somebody says, what do you do? And you say, I don't know. Like, it's very valid. That's a valid answer.
It's fine,
And it's okay if you don't really know right now. And maybe you might begin to find it through life. And it's like what you were saying about your goals, but also feeling like you made it. And like, I don't think that, like you said, Jay-Z is probably just, you know, there are people out there that to the public eye might have seemed like they've made it.
Yeah.
However, that person's still thinking about the next move. And they're thinking about the next move until they die.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like, life is lived, isn't it? And then death happens, and you either think you've made it and you put a halt onto where you are and you just stop there and you're good until that point, or you just keep freaking going until you end up, you know, 6 feet under, which is very valid as well. Like, they're all very valid ways to go about things, and not everything has to be directly this way and one choice and one thing. Like, we are open, we are learning, we are growing, we are evolving constantly. And I think that is the beauty of life, and it would be so cool if we could tap into that a little bit more.
That's some bars, you know. So would you if I was to phrase it and say that like a true artist never makes it?
Ooh, we could say that.
Would you say too. Like that?
We could say that too.
If you're,
but then maybe the true artist feels like they make it all the time, every day. God
so
damn.
Either a true artist has never made it,
or they be,
or a true artist has always made it.
They're always making it.
Stop it! We're coming in them bars, yeah.
I think it depends on how you see it.
Yeah, true. It's also both at the same time.
It's also both.
It's like just waking up. Like, say for example, like, no, I'm not professing to be a true artist. I'm just saying, say for me, I've got to a great space where every day I wake up and I'm fucking so gassed to be doing what I'm doing. Like like as much as I get stressed with my work, like I do a lot, but like my work day is like my last 3 days have been like shooting a project, spending a full day rehearsing, coming home and doing editing on the computer, and then having a fucking podcast with you. Beautiful. And it's like, this is what I'm stressed about. Like, my problems are nothing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, to wake up every day, and it's almost a privilege to be stressed about what I'm stressed about. Like, you know, I'm stressed about whether I'm going to have enough time to fucking film someone beautifully dancing in a great location. Like, oh no. Damn, my life is hard. But so
the hindrances.
For me, it's like, it is that simultaneous, like, I've made it and I'll never make it, because I'm grateful for, without being too fucking drunkenly emotional, but like, I'm grateful for every day that I wake up and get to do this, and I still you know, have a roof over my head, and you know,
you're happy,
I can afford food and stuff, like, off fucking playing with a camera and moving around to music. Fucking wonderful.
The world has many different things, and you and going on, and you have that. So exactly. It's very special.
But at the same time, as much as I feel like every day that I've like made it, no matter what I get, I'm never
that satisfied. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
I think that's just the artist.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
general.
that's why it's like a true artist has always made it, and a true artist has never made it.
Yeah, it's both. I think.
And it's like no matter how
it is
successful
both.
we get, there's always something else that we want to do.
There's always more growth.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think is because life and whatever you do within your life, art, music, dance, lawyer, etc., you are correlating that, that is a parallel line. And I think because you're constantly learning in life, you want to constantly learn in your thing as well, in your job or your hobby or your love. You want to constantly learn. It's like being in a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't want to stunt when someone's in a relationship and they feel like the relationship's not going anywhere. You want to split up with that person because it's not going anywhere. You're not learning anything anymore. You're not finding new discoveries about yourself. Like they say that being in a relationship is the most telling about yourself, isn't it? And I think that there's something within that as well. You know, the relationship of dance and the love that I have for it is like me being in a relationship, because it stripped me of so much things that I've realized and gone, okay, I've learned so much about myself, and I can continue to do that actually.
Yeah.
And it won't
It's almost
stop.
limitless in that way.
Limitless, man, until the point of death, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I do think like life and whatever your love is a one-way ticket. And
It's deep. I love that.
yeah, you just keep going. Yeah, you make it and you don't, and you feel all the emotions, and you're up and then you're down and then you're like side and you're the other side, you're diagonal. And it is just that is just life, isn't it? And I think when we accept that, we can move forward better and enjoy what we're doing, and know that it's okay if that day you felt a bit shit and a bit down. Like, it's okay. The next day might be on a rise.
But you know what I find interesting is, again, back to the subject of putting it, Coke's a bit flat, isn't it?
A little bit
flat. Sorry,
it's all right.
Not a good host. It's literally just the dregs.
Terrible, Luke. I'm leaving. Can you imagine?
Whatever was in my fridge.
No, this is absolutely fine, mate.
It's a bit flat. Sorry. I think going back to like putting yourself in other people's shoes, I think the problem comes when I can imagine like a young dancer listening to this and saying that like, oh, it's all well and good us saying this, in the sense that like you're an established dancer and choreographer, you've got work, you're not worried about money.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not assuming, but like you're not worried about
here
like,
and there.
Yeah,
Up
we're
and
all
down,
worried about money.
diagonal, left.
But I mean, in the sense of you've got connections, you've got an established network.
I've been dancing for a substantial
You've got the skill
amount
set.
of time.
I like same with me with the photography and video and stuff. Like I've got the equipment I've already bought. Like I've got the skill set. I've learned stuff. So I have an established base to create from and to earn from. And I think maybe the thing could be that it's like, oh, it's all well and good us saying, well, yeah, we make it every day. When it's like a younger dancer might be like, well, I don't feel like I've made it because I'm not earning shit. I'm working in a cafe or something. I'm like, I want to be doing 100%. This and I can't. I'm not getting auditions when I go. And it's like, it's different.
It's different,
for them to feel that like appreciation of every day.
I felt like that growing. You know, I started dancing when I was 7. I wasn't sure that it would be something that I wanted to do at the time as well. I think it's very different now because of technology. There's quite a lot of it going around.
It's
a bit more.
Different way of.
It's a different way of promoting yourself and
or even
learning and moving into gaining knowledge, etc. So I started dancing when I was 7. I carried on, realized that I, loved the shit out of this. Joined another dance group. Banged it out. Again, still not sure I was, to be honest, even in that dance group, I was still not sure I was going to make money off of this shit, Like I was just like, I absolutely love this. And I think when you're younger, I think what the most important thing is to just love what you're doing and not worry about, the financial side just yet. Like I think you need to find what it is that you really like and love to do. And then once you've grasped that, so 7 till about 13, I was dancing and just loving it, and there was no other thing driving me really. Right. I was paying to dance, you know, like that was the shit. And then after that, it again joined Definitive, and Definitive has been going for 10 plus years now. And
it must be because you guys were established when I started in 2007.
Yeah.
So it must be like,
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You know what's funny? I always remember, I don't know who's going to listen to this, but the first time I remember seeing Definitives, right, I was already a grumpy prick when I first started. And like, I remember being in Ruthless and like, you know, we were saying about the tech runs. I used to just be like, oh, fuck this group. They're shit, blah, blah, blah. And I used to just be on my phone or whatever and just not watch.
That
like,
is hilarious.
Just immediately like, I don't like them.
Don't like them. Off, guys.
Yeah. And then I remember Simeon from Ruthless. Yeah. He was like Simeon and Daniel were like my mentors from day. Like,
my G's, big up, guys, big up.
Trust, if they listen, like I legit can't express enough like how much they gave me in life, let alone in dance.
Yeah, that's nice.
And like we were sitting in the tech run, and I think I was on my phone or something, and Sim goes, "Yo, watch this next group. You're gonna like them." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Trust me, watch them." And it was Definitives, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, that was good."
Okay, they were okay. They were okay. What set was this?
This was Boroughs United.
My God,
in 2008.
Yellow.
Oh, I don't even remember the
grey jacket.
I remember it was at the Hackney Empire.
It was at the Hackney Empire.
Listen, that was such a vivid memory for me. 2008 at Boroughs United, which was that was a prime
that was such
for the
a fun
tech
show. Yeah, that was so for the tech.
That was for us, and all the people that came were like families. And,
it was so for the tech. Yeah, it was literally, the show was literally all of our mates and families, literally. Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, it was Boroughs United at Hackney Empire. I remember Sim saying to me, like, trust me, watch the next group's tech, you're going to like it. And then I was like, fair enough.
Big up Sim.
That was the first time.
You got Luke into
Definitive.
D-Fam.
Yeah. That was like the first time I saw them. But
yeah, I remember that. I remember that. So
anyway, it's been a while.
Oh, mental. So yeah, it has been a while with D-Fam. Big up Glenn Hudson.
Yeah, mate.
So even then, like starting out in Definitive, still, so I was about 14 and still
when you're in Definitive? Oh, damn. Damn.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? I'm 28 now.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Similar age.
So I was always like the young one, actually.
Right.
But I just enjoyed dancing, and that was my main thing. As a young person, I think that it was good to indulge in the things that you really like to do.
Yeah.
Then I went on to train at the Brit School, and I think the Brit School actually opened my eyes to, okay, so after I leave here, I can make money from this dance shit.
Right.
And I think it all just started to transpire from there. And I mean, again, with the Brit School, big up you guys as well, because again, taught me so much. And that's when I started fusing hip hop and contemporary together, to be honest. Because I loved contemporary and I thought these two go hand in hand easily. And then, like I started making pieces with Ajani. And it just kind of transpired from there. I started creating more. And now I don't know whether like if you are creative or a choreographer, that is something that you want to do, or if you're just a dancer and you just want to enjoy dancing. Because back to your point about like maybe your friend Alex feels like she's made it, or maybe she feels that she is making it because she just dances and just wants to do that. And as much as she might not just dance, she might create too. But there's a sense of like the different realms for just a dancer and the different realm for a creative and a choreographer who dances. Yeah. They're two different things I've come to
I think so.
Establish and
realize.
I think
even from day one, I always wanted to be a choreographer more than a dancer. Yeah. Because in my head, and this might be a dumb thing to say, I don't know, but it's like a dancer's replaceable and a choreographer isn't. Like if a dancer's, if I kick you out of a project as a dancer and bring someone else in, it's still my vision.
You still see what you want to see.
Yeah. I just make you do it. If I get kicked out and someone else, if I'm the choreographer and someone else gets into choreograph, the whole project
changes.
So I always, from the day one, I was like, nah, I want to be a choreographer.
I think I want to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, it depends what you're, not that one's better or one's worse. Like,
I don't think that one is better or worse. I think that
because also a choreographer with no one on stage is useless.
You ain't got shit. Yeah. You ain't got shit. But also a choreographer that does, rubbish shit as well is also valid.
Yeah.
But again, Poundland, Tesco's.
True.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need shit as well.
Yeah.
To just make things, make the good shit look good as well. You have to understand what's good, what makes sense for you. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that the dancer and the choreographer are higher than each other, but I'd say they take different trajectories.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think because I started creating and because it felt right for me to do that, I pushed that. And when I started pushing that was when I started thinking about finance. That's when I started thinking about I'm making it every day, but I'm also not.
Yeah.
That's when I started thinking about the things that I want to do, working with musicians, visuals, video stuff, film festivals, etc. And yeah, these ideas, they constantly grow. It doesn't stop. There's things that I think of at 4 a.m. and I'm like, that could be sick.
Yeah.
But it's how you do it. It's what you do. It's what you go about, who you go to, the networks you've made. And so I think as a young person, it's really important to just do what you like doing. Find out what you like doing. And if you're a dancer, if you're a creative, if you start as a dancer, which is exactly what I started as, and you start to find a love for creating, take that route, go for it.
Yo, I think that's even more than for young people. I think that's for everyone.
I think so.
I have only realized that recently.
Where you start, does
it's
it?
like just the shit that you've always wanted to do. Like if you can identify that and do it, like it's like when I started doing photography, it was like 4 years ago, I would say, right?
Meant 4 years.
Yeah. Maybe
like a lifetime ago.
Maybe even 5. Yeah. It's only been like 4 years or so that I've been doing it. Since I think I first bought my camera in 2016. But I was like, people are like, oh, why did you start photography? And I was kind of like, oh, it just fucking came out of nowhere and blah, blah, blah. Now, the more I talk to my friends, the more I'm like, oh, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like even I've been talking to Lee, and he's been like, oh, but when we were like 18, you were always the one with your camera phone.
It never
like,
comes out of nowhere.
Bro, stand there and like, oh, this light is... And
never comes out of nowhere.
And I never thought of it as like something that I wanted to do as a career, but I do think back now and I'm like, yeah, I did always want to... Anytime we were anywhere, I always wanted to like make sure we had pictures of the moment and like, oh yeah, this, like we can capture this and... So now
I see it for the aesthetic. Yeah.
Or like partly the aesthetic and partly like the idea of like capturing a moment and keeping it for later. Whereas other people are like, let's just chill. And I'm like, no, but let's get a picture.
Yeah, that's cute.
So now I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah. So it was always an interest of mine. And even now, like, it's so dumb, but like, it's not dumb, but like in the last few months I started skateboarding. And like we spoke about that.
But shout out the skateboard squad.
Trust me. Yeah, but it's like I've legit always been interested in skating. Like I've forever been stealing like skateboard style, like with the way I've been dressing since I was like
yes,
15. I've been looking at skaters and like, oh, I'm gonna steal that.
They look sick.
Yeah. And like I've always been watching videos, I like all that sort of shit. So I'm at the stage now where I'm realizing a lot of stuff like that, where it's like, I've realized like I always wanted to skateboard, but I always thought it was a waste of time, or I always thought I'm not going to become professional, so what's the point? And now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do stuff that I want to do.
That's it.
And you never know.
That's it. Like it doesn't matter what age you are.
And it's also this idea of making it, because I had this first thought when I first bought, like I said, it was in lockdown that I bought a skateboard. And I was like, right, well, what the fuck is the point of this? Because I was like, I'm not going to become a professional skateboarder. I'm not going to become like a fucking rich skateboarder. So maybe I shouldn't even start. And then I thought, I haven't necessarily done anything huge with dance. Let's say I've been dancing for 13 years. I haven't done anything huge, but I'm very much in the scene. I very much feel like I know what I'm talking about. I very much feel like I've been around.
You've been
and I know
about,
people.
you know enough people. You've made it to a certain extent.
I think so. Yeah, it's just like you could definitely argue that like money wise, I haven't been killing it.
Fair.
But I think if I think about in the space of 13 years, what dance has given me. Like the amount of friends I've made, the amount of opportunities I've had. I've traveled the world for free.
Dude.
Like not every country.
You've been to some amazing places.
Mad places.
Yeah.
I've met some crazy people. Like I've got friends in all over the world that I've met through dance. This is what I mean.
Right? That's why I'm like, dude, you've made it as well.
Yeah, and this is going back to the idea of like what is making it, and is it just about the money? And I think say for example with skateboarding, this I might look back on this and laugh because I didn't stick to it or whatever.
But this is great. Yeah.
But I'm more speaking about my drive to try stuff. My drive to try stuff comes from such a drunken. My drive to Let me try again. My drive to try stuff.
Yeah.
Comes from this idea that. Let's say I'm 30 now, just turned 31. From now until I'm 41, if the next decade skateboarding gives me half of what dance gave me over the last 10 years, imagine what my life would be like if I traveled to half the countries, made half the friends in the next 10 years that I made from dance. Like that's worth
how awesome is
spending 50 quid on a fucking skateboard and going out. Do you know what I mean?
Awesome it is worth it. Experience is worth it.
Yeah.
Experience
and
is
you never know what you're going to
man.
fucking make money from as well. Like when I first started dancing,
dude.
I did not think I was going to do it as a career. I just wanted to get girls, to be honest.
And you're like, all the gal them come here. Dude, like that was me. Not with the girls, but I mean, I don't mind. But
it's not the point, but
it
if
wasn't
they come,
the point, but hey.
Yeah.
But no, starting out again, like it just wasn't the pinnacle. And there's a lot of things where people are like, okay, what can I make money from? And
what's the point? Is this useful?
Is this useful? Is this worth it? But it's like, I think let's just think about what you like to do. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Once you start there, and you can do a little cafe job on the side.
Yeah.
Do a little something so you can make a little bit of peas, a little bit of money, a little bit of bread for yourself, and just do what you like. Start to find that. Go, I don't know if I like that. Let me try something else.
And I would argue that not many successful artists in any discipline started by going, I'm going to make money off this. I'm going to be successful. It was like, I enjoy drawing pictures.
Yes.
Oh,
I am Picasso.
Artist. Yeah,
apparently.
do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Like, most people start from. I mean,
exactly.
Even careers. It doesn't have to be art, but like if you start from a place of what do I enjoy doing, and I always think like people look at the stuff and they're like, oh, well, that's not a career, and it's like, oh, what do you like to do with your time? Oh, I don't know. I just stay home and watch Netflix. It's like, well, have you thought about creating a film,
a Netflix show? Do you like, if you like them that much, what are the details that you pay attention to? Right.
And if you spend that much time watching Netflix, you must know a bit about it. What about being a critique, like writing for the paper?
What about writing?
Anything that you like doing, there's a career in, I think. I agree. It's a bit cheesy, but there's a speech by a guy called Alan Watts. I don't know if you've heard of him. You've definitely heard everybody uses it as like voiceovers for stuff.
Yeah.
He had a speech about doing what you love, and he was saying like anything that you do, other people will enjoy as well. Someone out there enjoys the same thing you enjoy. Well, do that and the money will come. Like get really good at it. And if you're really good at if it's like, oh, I'm really good at like stacking bottles on top of each other. If I'm the best in the world, I'll find other people that care about that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going. That's going back to the commonality, isn't it? It's like we're all human. Whether you don't like one thing, but you know that you both like the stacking bottles thing.
Right.
You'll find a commonality, and there's so many people in this earth, like we were saying, that you are never alone in thinking the way that you think.
Yeah.
Although we are so different and we do have different experiences, and you are individual and are unique to yourself, which is a beautiful thing. I think that there are people that are like-minded, like-hearted, and do think similarly to you. And there are some things that you will find commonalities with all the time.
Yeah.
And whether you're loud or quiet, like both works, it's fine. I'm reading this book called Quiet at the moment, actually, about it's about the quiet people that don't know how to speak in a world that won't stop talking.
Interesting.
So it's basically introverts / extroverts / the gray area in between, because I believe I'm quiet. I'm quite a person that can be quiet, but I can also be quiet loud when the time is right. And I think, it's valid to know as well that if you do feel uncomfortable in certain situations, or you feel like that's not really for you, there are so many other ways to go about things, and just explore the possibilities, because the possibilities are endless. They always are. And if Jay-Z, like we said, isn't thinking about stopping or chilling, and he's thinking about the next project, yourself can do the same thing regardless, and I think whether you're introvert or not.
Yeah, and it's also, usually we associate that with the financial side, like Jay-Z's rich and he still wants to keep going, but it's also from the artistic side.
I think so.
Like you can have multiple classic albums and still want to create more, or do different things, or create Tidal, or all these different, like, so us as artists, we can always
do more.
I can have a dance and a photography career and buy a skateboard.
And buy a bloody skateboard.
And that's fine.
And that's that. And
what I wanted to... There's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about before we finish.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to any of the things
that's
I had in my head. Because we rolled with it. It's all good. So the first thing I think is interesting about you is... hit that alcohol.
A bit of rum.
You finished the Malibu already? You are wild.
I did. I am a bit wild.
I like it. Is the your family is mad, like, connected to the dance scene, and like so talk to me about your family. Brooke and April and Roxy are your cousins.
They are my cousins,
right?
Yes.
So obviously Brooke and Roxy are sister and brother.
Yes, they are.
Sister
and brother. Yeah.
Too many drinks. And then April is like also, so you're all different, like, cousins.
Yes.
On whose side?
So April is my mum. Her mum was my mum's cousin.
Okay.
So she's like my second cousin.
Yeah.
And Brooke and Roxy are my first cousins. They are my mum's brother's son and daughter.
Man. So how is it that you all became dancers?
Yeah, how is it? Is it
just
mate?
coincidence?
How the hell is it? Honestly. It's a bit of a mad one. I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
I must say.
And not only all became dancers, all became good dancers. Like, there's no shit one.
There's no shit one. Hold on.
It'd be weird if, like,
everyone's really good at this shit.
If there was 4 of you and like 3 of you were good and one was just
crippling along.
We're like,
you're all cousins, isn't it? And this 4th one is like,
you're
a bit
all
dead.
Yeah.
I saw him in that experimental battle, a bit dead.
Yeah, no, you're all like of a good level. So it's like, that's mad.
That is pretty mad. Okay, so let me go back.
Way back.
So I'm going to go back into our uncles.
Yeah.
Well, my uncles.
Because it's like, you have a musical family as well, right?
Yeah, they're very musical too.
So it's either family.
Yeah, it's either dance or music with my family, really.
Got ya.
So with so I'd say my uncles probably spurred this on.
Really?
I'd say. Yeah.
So so your uncle is who to everyone else?
So my uncles are the Pasadenas, which were a famous group in the 70s.
Cool.
Musicians. So there's 3 of them that are my uncles, and there's 2 of them that were their mates.
Mm-hmm.
So the band was 5 guys, and they would throw down the dance moves. I'm telling you, please watch their videos because they're bloody brilliant. And they would also sing very well. Yeah. So my uncles are Uncle Michael, Uncle David, who are twins, and Uncle Jeff. So Uncle Michael, that is Brooke's dad and Roxy's dad. And Uncle David,
that's your mum's brother.
My mum's brother. And Uncle David is Jake Milliner, who produces as well. Jodie Milliner, who's done like the Kano album, worked with Lily Allen, a few other things.
Madness.
And Jesse Milliner, who DJs and also produces here and
Your
there.
family are fire.
So the cousins, I don't know, the uncles brought so we have the twins, the uncles, the Uncle Mike and Uncle Dave, and they produced, you know, these beautiful children, and they both had 3 on each side. So we've got Roxy, Brooke, and Jamie, who are on one side. Jamie played football, but now he's settled with his kids and wife, very happy. Brooke and Roxy, obviously.
Being Brooke and Roxy.
Being Brooke and Roxy, as they do.
You already know.
Roxy's just had a little Bubba, who's the light of my life right now. Little Leo, he is a dream. And then you've got Uncle Dave produced Jodie, Jake, and Jesse. So Jodie's done quite a bit of things. He actually produced a new Kano album, and he's been doing things, to be honest. And Jake does a lot of hip hop kind of Dilla style beats, and Jess DJs. So these people have just like, it all transpired and happened. And then my mum had me and I'm the only one here like, hi guys. And Brooke and Roxy used to do trampolining when they were quite young.
Yeah.
And I always was like, Mum, can you take me trampolining? Didn't happen. However, Mum did take me to street dance classes and hip hop, and I started doing that.
So you started before Brooke and Roxy?
No, they're a bit older than me, so they started before me. But I think they were doing more like, it was more gymnastics, kind of trampolining, just athletical kind of stuff. And funny fact is that I didn't know April until I was about, let's say 10.
Mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I found out that April was my cousin like about 9, 10, and I was like, hey,
welcome.
I love you.
That's cute.
And we started dancing together as well in the same group. So the thing is that we all dance together, but we've never actually, you know, not never, but we haven't had much moments where we've like interlocked our journeys.
Yeah.
Because Brooke started getting more into the pop-in and freestyle and battle, and I was very into the choreography, and so was April at the time. And Roxy wasn't dancing that much, but she started a bit later and she started doing her B-girl thing.
Yeah.
She started banging that. And Brooke was far in the freestyle stuff. Then April started going into hip-hop freestyle, and I was like, oh, that looks legit. I moved to Holland for 6 months about 4 years ago. And that's when I really started getting into freestyle. Hip hop freestyle specifically, and krump. And then I just was like, okay, I understand. I'm understanding my body more. I'm getting this. Because all I did from 7 till was choreo. And so it was so nice to just freestyle. Yeah. And like understand concept, transition, etc.
That's fine.
And then
might as well do this again. We did this last week, but let's go live on Insta. Why not?
Let's do it.
I think we should.
This is a good moment with the cousin thing.
Yeah, true.
I'm down.
We do this every time the camera dies. So guys, if you are listening, the camera has died. But they can't see both. I'm not that.
Can you not put it that way, landscape, or is it going to be shit?
No, because you can't see it on Insta Live. No, that's right.
Come in, mate.
It's all good. So, for anyone listening and or watching, we're now on live on Insta. We started this last time because the camera died, and we went on Insta Live instead. So, yeah, we're going to do it again, and we're here with Miss Robia for anyone joining us now. But yeah, so continue with what you're saying. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, so Brooke.
Yeah, they went in. Like, I think what's interesting with you going into different things is that's kind of, I guess, the cost of being good at stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's the cost of being good at stuff, because it's like with you guys, if you were all shit dancers, you could be like, hey, Brooke, Roxy, April, let's just get together and
Let's do something and
make a piece
and be
for fun.
better.
Yeah, and when you're good, it's like Brooke is a specialist in what he does, Roxy, April, and you're all specialists and good at what you do. So in that way, it's quite tough to find time, I guess, when it's like,
I think so. Yeah, I
not
think
only
it got
let's-
to that point where it was like,
what do we do? And also, you're not getting paid for it. So how do
what
we?
do we do? How do we get together? How can we find time when all the cousins can just be like, let's do this, guys?
Yeah.
However, I started getting really into freestyle, and me and April have now got 16th Floor with
Sick.
Sheldon and Karen. Big up my G's.
One, I have to say, I might be speaking out of my ass.
Go
No,
on.
I think this is worth saying. I think one of my favourite groups, one of my favourite freestyle crews, I would say. In terms of, obviously I know you guys personally, I know a lot of people personally, and that might change my opinion, but in terms of knowing you personally, but also the persona that you guys come across.
The energy.
And the energy and the vibe, but also the skill level and the art that you guys would create, even just as freestylers and as battlers. So yeah, I think I'm a big fan of 16 Floor. I don't think
We
that's a
love
secret.
ya.
Like,
we love ya, mate.
I've been associated
We
with
love ya.
most of
With
the members
all
at
of
some point
us.
or another. Yeah.
So
But
that
that's
was
cool.
founded by me, Karen, Sheldon, April, and now O'Neill and Jevon are a part of it as well.
Yeah.
And we just like to extend it, to be honest. Like, that's basically our main thing.
But that's sick to at least have that with because I mean Brooke and Roxy have done a few things together, I guess.
Yes,
so it's cool
they
for
have.
you to
They have. Yeah,
have that
yeah.
with
It's
April.
nice to have it with my cousin April for sure, and to continue to build that relationship. So the first performance I did with Brooke and Roxy was last year in Amsterdam, and it
Really?
was part of the agency Pro Dance, and
Sick.
it was wonderful. I had a great time. It was super fun, and I just wanted to dance with them more. I was just so like, we need to do this more.
Yeah. Like
We're
a nice
all,
energy.
We're all very good, and we all love to be in each other's company.
Yeah.
So then me and Brooke kind of kept contact a bit more. Then Roxy had her little one. And just before she had her little one, me and Brooke put into place creating something together.
Yeah. Which
And
you
Brooke
just released recently.
we just released My Future recently. And Brooke actually messaged me. He's like, let's create something, because
Sick.
I was like, I'm down. He thought about all the people. He thought about the song. And he was like, if you can create this and this bit, this section, I can do the other ones, and then we can delegate. Literally, we spent a rehearsal. We got the people together, spent a rehearsal of delegating, done. And then we filmed the next 2 days, done.
Sick.
And it was just so bish bash bosh. And I was like, so more of that then.
Can we do this again?
Yeah. And I think maybe the lockdown might have had an effect on that.
Well, it made you realise that you wanted to do stuff together?
Not realise, but just made it happen.
Right. It's like, let's do this now. Like,
Now's the time.
yeah. I hear that.
So I'd say it all transpired from our uncles, but actually I'd say that their uncles actually had a band as well, which is interesting.
So you've had
so it
generations.
does go quite back into the
So
the
Roxy's
family.
kid is definitely
Roxy's
dancing.
kid's gonna be
Has to dance or do something artistic.
something.
Bare pressure.
Bear pressure rock spa. I love you.
But you know what else I was
You
going to
better
ask?
be doing the splits right now. Can you imagine?
No, I was going to ask you about the I Love This Dance
Yeah.
situation, because for anyone that doesn't know, I Love This Dance are, I guess, a platform, and they have an event every year called All-Star Game, which I have been watching since I started dancing.
The beginning of time.
Yo, that
Same.
shit used to inspire me so. It still does, but like when I was first started dancing, that was the shit. This was like the fucking, I don't even know, like the Oscars or something. It was like all the celebrities.
Oh my God, it's
and
so the Oscars.
so what was it? How did you get invited to be a guest on
Jesus
that?
Christ. It's all still quite surreal. So it was just a message, an Instagram message, actually.
Really? From who? From them?
Yeah.
Sick. How did they like know about you? Or
I have absolutely no idea.
swear. They were just like, we like you. Do you want to do it? Mad.
I don't know how they knew about me. Personally, I think that through the years, they've started to branch out to people that aren't as well known.
So I heard, I don't know if this is the case, I heard that they don't invite people twice. So once someone's been invited, it's done. So maybe, they've had to like, they're like, who else, what other styles?
That makes sense. That makes sense because you want to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
You want to keep it fresh. I mean, how awesome would it be, hint, hint, to do an all-stars game with like some of the best ones?
Yeah, like an all-star game.
An all-star game would be crazy. But they were planning actually to do a 2-day event this year.
Sick.
But obviously
that would have been nice.
It's not happening.
That was,
but they were going to do a 2-day event.
The only event that I would really travel for at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I mean, pre-corona even. Like, I was even
me too.
A bit like, I don't know if I want to travel for Just a Boo or...
Yeah.
Summer dance, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe to watch because that looks a bit special. But I the other ones, I was like, I'll catch it on YouTube. I'm not too stressed. But I love this dance.
But there's something about I love this dance. And there's something about being in this space. Like, so...
Really? I heard that theatre is magic. Yeah. Where is it?
There's something about being in the space. I cannot remember.
In Paris,
La
obviously.
Pigalle?
Okay.
Pigalle,
I've heard
the
that.
theatre.
I've heard the name.
So I honestly don't know how they got to find me.
They just did.
They just did. And I thought that was pretty surreal in itself because I was just like, what?
Yeah. Especially for a notoriously freestyle battle-based platform. I know that you can freestyle, but it's not a public, not a public persona. I guess.
Exactly. And like, I think because I have been doing choreo for so long, that's, what a lot of people see. That's what's up there. However, I've been freestyling for as long, 5 years plus or now. And it's just very interesting that, they reached out and I just thought, I remember sending a screenshot to Tally, like, da fuck? Like, have they actually reached out to me? This is insane. Like, and I was like, I'm not worthy. But I was like, absolutely.
I'm definitely not going to turn it down, though.
I'm not going to turn this shit down, though. This is going to be a great learning experience.
Yeah.
And I took it as like more of a learning curve, to be honest, because it is. It is, and it's so simple. The concept is so simple.
So for anyone that doesn't know, basically the idea of this platform is that I don't know how and why they started it, but the idea was that they do battles, but it's you go against someone and it's everybody's a guest. There's no like prelims or anything, and you get paired up with someone, and basically you both choose a song. Correct me if any of this is wrong, but you both choose a song.
Totally right, my dear.
And then the first round is you dance to each other's song. So you would start off dancing to the one that your opponent chose, and then they dance to the one that you chose. And then the second round is that you dance to your own song. So everybody's heard it once, and now it's almost you showing why you chose
that song.
So and who were you against? Was it Kudia?
Kudia.
Which is a beautiful matchup. Because you hadn't met her before that.
I had never met her.
Kudia is a wonderful person.
I had never met her before. However, I was doing Message in a Bottle at the time. Yeah. And my mate Anna from Sweden, who was doing Message in a Bottle as well, said, you're going to meet Kudia. And it was so funny because you find out your pairings on the day.
Oh, really?
So, like literally like they announce it just before, Or you can say, I don't want to know.
Oh, until you go on stage? So they ask you if you want to know or not?
Yeah. And I said, I don't want to know. Just, it's fine. But he was like, but we can also tell, because as the fucking thing is flipping, your heart's beating because you don't know who you're going to go next.
So at what point is this like, or you're on stage?
You're on stage.
So do you know where you are?
I Love This Dance, you sit down.
Yeah.
On the stage, for anyone that doesn't know. And you wait. Then there's names on the projector and they flip. One name comes up, the next name comes up. And that's how you find out who you're dancing with.
If you didn't if you chose to not know.
No, you don't find out who you're dancing with. You only find out whether you're in the first or second act.
So if you wanted to know, you would know if you're in the first or second act.
Yeah, but that's as far as it goes. But I was like, don't tell me. It's fine.
But they could tell you. So they won't tell you who you're against.
No, you find out on literally as you find out at the same time as the public.
That's crazy because I thought that everybody knew like a week in advance, because we've always been talking about like, oh, I bet they chose that song because that person.
No.
Like, okay, that's some insight.
So
you found out, and when it came up, did you go, who the fuck is Kudio? Or did you?
No, because one of my good friends that did Message in a Bottle called Anna, she's from Sweden and she had met Kudio before. They did a project together, and before I left for Paris, she was like, you're going to meet Kudio.
Oh, just as in you're going to meet her, not knowing you're going to battle.
Not knowing that I'm going to dance with her.
Amazing.
Right?
That is sick.
So she's like, you're going to meet Kudio. She's lovely. She's beautiful. I was like, I'm so excited to meet her. Wonderful.
Who is this wonderful
person? I get
person?
there, and where, the energy is so nice, man. Like, the organization of this event as well, like, hands down, one of the best organization events I've been to. I felt looked after. There was food, like, just loads of, food, buffet style. They give you water, drinks. They film like a little bit of promo. You chill, you watch the state. Like, it's just so nice. We all traveled together, little showers, taking pictures of us in the metro.
Sick.
Like, everything about it was just insanely gorgeous, and we're all staying in the same place. And you're like, oh, you're dancing for I Love This Dance as well. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, where are you from? Who are, like, you get to know each other. Dude, it was one of the best, like, when you go to big events and you worry that like the whole BTS isn't going to be as good as what you've been watching for so long. Yeah. And then you go and they have surpassed your standards completely.
Sick. That is amazing.
And not to say that I had any standards set, but I just thought, this is so beautiful. So when we were in the corridor, I was like, you're Kudio, right? Because my friend Anna, Anna, she was like, yeah, I met her. And I was like, it's so nice to meet you. Yeah, she was like, yeah. And I hugged her and I was like, your energy is
so nice,
good. And I was like, I feel like I'm going to dance with her.
Amazing.
And on the day, boom,
that's so sick.
We danced together. And I mean, I didn't even see it as a battle. I just saw it as an exchange.
That's what's really cool about I Love This Dance. Is like, I've seen some battles like hardcore, like, oh, this is fire, and people are going for each other's throats. I've also seen some stuff that I'm like, oh, this is just a show. Like, it's just the audience wins.
Everyone wins.
Yeah,
everyone wins,
which is mad. Which I think makes it really special. I think that's a great. You know what, I have to say, I wish they would franchise that show, and I wish there was. Like, I wish there was a UK version that they authorized.
They have been talking. So I said to them, I'm like, guys, because Vslo, big up Vslo, because he's the founder and he is such a nice person. He's the choo-choo-choo guy, man. He's the choo-choo-choo guy. And honestly, he's one of the nicest people I've met. And I said, look, have you thought about taking this overseas? And they're like, yeah, we're thinking about doing, loads of, but then they're like, but also the specialness in the Pigalle and in France and bringing other people is very special too. So I don't know if they do franchise it, I don't know if it's going to spoil it or not.
Yeah.
It's a question.
Yeah, it might. I mean, but that's the same with anything, I guess. It's like,
I get you.
What is it that makes an event, really?
Yeah.
Like, yes, sometimes it's the venue, but also what, it's like...
Is it just the energy? Yeah, I think it's something that they could explore.
And like, also it depends, like, you can't just give someone the name and be like, go do our... Like, they have to oversee it. No, they have
to oversee it. Yeah.
And I think if they did, they could create that energy.
Yeah, because like, they have to be there because they are what's driving...
And you'd
driving
have to,
it, absolutely.
You'd have to understand what it is that makes... Hello, Sean.
Hello, mate.
All right, mate. You'd have to understand what it is that makes that event special, because you could do that in the UK, that I Love This Dance.
I think so.
But you'd have to work with someone that understands the UK scene well enough to know what matchups are going to be special and what we don't see.
And that's what's hard, though, isn't it? It's about trusting the people, the organizations, because you can't just pick, the biggest studio, because sometimes they're not the best people to work with, or you can't just pick this random person that you met that one time because maybe they don't have all the connects.
And that takes a while.
It takes a while to build.
It
takes a while to build. But it's something that I did ask as well when I was there.
And they said they were thinking about it?
They're thinking about it. They were thinking about doing an All-Stars as well. So
that would be sick.
Not mad, guys.
Yeah, Summer Dance just did that, didn't they?
Brought like the oldies back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, what did they call it? The Warrior Edition.
The Warrior Edition. Go for it.
Yeah, that's mad. And yeah, your battle was really nice, and it was all freestyle what you did. Like,
yeah. It was an interesting one. It was.
What was your, like, the song that you chose?
Yeah.
Did you? Because I always wonder this. Like, with I love this song. It's like, did you? Because my thought would be, I'm going to choose a song and I'm going to fucking know it so well, and I'm going to practice to it, and I'm going to I'm going to have blow ups. And did you try and just keep it spontaneous?
Yeah, I tried to keep it spontaneous. Yeah.
Was it tough? Did you want to like prepare?
It was hard. It was a bit of a mind fuck, actually. Really? Yeah, it was a challenge. I felt like I got into her song way more.
Really? Because it was unknown.
It was unknown.
So you could relax a bit.
It was unknown, dude. And like, to be honest, all the I Love This dances that I've watched, I always go, shit, they done some wild shit on that other person's track. And I always think, when I watch them do their track, it's too choreographed. Yeah. It's too preempted.
There's a few people I like that have killed their own.
There's a few people that have killed their own. And a few people that can do it.
Yeah.
But that's a very fine line, I think. And there are some people that I'm like, I'm not sure if that was just, I was just watching a showcase or you freestyling.
Yeah.
And some of it, so I tried to keep the track very spontaneous. I think I changed it on the day as well.
Oh, wow.
And but again, I still felt like with her song, I just went into a different realm.
You know what's interesting? I think that the impression is always that in let's say, I always call it I Love This Dance in All-Star Game.
Yeah.
I think the impression is that the challenge is dancing to someone else's track, but actually as freestylers,
I think the challenge is dancing to yours, man.
Yeah, like as freestylers, that's what we do every day.
That's what we do.
We dance to a track that the DJ throws on.
But that's what I was gonna say. So when I trained with 16th, we dance to songs we don't know a hell of a lot.
And like, I think a lot of good freestylers would
do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's part of a battle as well. It's part, like, you don't know what the DJ is going to fling on.
Yeah, you can't.
So you put on a track and you go, whatever it is, you should be able to freestyle your style.
Yeah.
Whatever the track is. And that is very good training. However, after I Love This Dance, I said to myself, I'm going to start training with tracks I know more. And not only that, but I'm going to start to see if I can find more substance within the song that I know.
Yeah.
Which is a very hard thing to do because you know it, right? So you're just like, I know what I'm doing. But actually, when you take time and you go, I never heard that bit in this song before, then maybe you might find something else within your movement too.
Definitely. And it's also in terms of finding stuff in the song. Like, I always found it's hard to dance. Like, I grew up loving Eminem.
Yeah.
And like there's some of his old albums I know like word for word.
Back to back, word for word, yeah.
There's songs that I haven't heard in like 10 years and I listen to it and I'm like, I still know every ad lib. Like,
yeah.
But these are the songs that are the hardest to freestyle to. Because I'm like, or even like songs where you know all the... I got, when I was in Copenhagen, I did a battle and I got a song that I knew super well.
Oh, it's so hard.
And it's like, where do you start? I know every fucking sound in this song.
All the intricacies.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming. Whereas when you get the other person's song or a song you don't know. You almost have no choice but to
just throw yourself in. Yeah. So there's something, it's like, okay, even though I do know all the intricacies, it's just like, maybe let me just like not do all the things that I know. Let me not hit all the beats.
I wonder
Let me see if that works differently. Yeah. And it's about you. I think what I Love This Dance taught me is also about you knowing something, but unknowing it and unlearning it and just going, okay, actually, all right, I know this, but let me put myself in a place where like, I don't, I'm just going to start exploring my body and see what happens there.
Do you have time limits?
Is there a time limit? From movement. Yeah, it was a time limit.
Okay, right.
I can't remember how long.
Because I feel like some of them go on for quite a while.
Some of them do go on for quite a while.
But it's also, I think that's also the thing is like if they give you space.
Yeah. I don't think it was
too short. Not like
short.
45-second battle.
No, yeah, it's not a 45-second battle, which is that, again, it's a different concept, isn't it? When you're in a battle, you're like 30 seconds, show me what you got.
Yeah.
And if you know a song, you're like, all right, well, I know it, so tick, 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 boom. It just depends on what you're doing. And I think, with I Love This Dance, they do give you a little bit of longevity to find what it is that you're searching for, if you are searching for anything. And then you can, go from there.
Yeah.
So I've been freestyling to the track that I fucking used loads and trying to find different ways to move to it.
Yeah.
Which has been really fun.
That's so sick. That's so sick, man.
It's a brilliant lesson.
I bet. Like, I want to keep going, but I think we should probably wrap up.
We should probably wrap, shouldn't we?
Because also I'm hungry. We gotta eat dinner, yo. No, I super appreciate having you here.
I love you, mate.
You're going to be doing your movement program in Malta.
I'm going to be doing my movement program in Malta in, I'd say, 3 weeks. Yeah. So I'm heading out there, doing 4 days back to back. Of contemporary hip hop and the space in between that and how valid that is. I'm going to try it there and then see what happens elsewhere.
Are you making any plans for 2021, or are we just waiting to see if the world ends?
I'm waiting to see what the world is saying. Yeah, I'm waiting to see. We've only got 4 minutes to save the world, guys.
Yeah.
As Madonna and Justin put it. I'm going to see.
I'll make plans when I know the world isn't ending.
I'll make plans when I know the world isn't coming to an end.
Yeah.
Which I'm more than happy with doing for now.
Sick. So you just kind of like doing the Malta program and then coming back Christmas.
And then coming back Christmas.
See what's up.
Quarantine and Christmas. I mean, that's what we're all going to do anyway. We all quarantine in Christmas anyway.
Smart move.
And then, let's see what January has to hold. Let's see where the world is. Let's see where everyone's health is. Let's see mentally. Let's just, I'd like to take it
Hopefully,
day by day.
2021 will be a new year.
Let's hope.
Super appreciate you coming through.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, mate.
It's been wonderful.
And we've got plans for a future one.
We've got plans for a future one. Guys, it's happening.
Hey, Free Your Style Co.
Hi, guys. Hi, Free Your Style Co.
I super appreciate it. Shout out to the Milliners. You're all wonderful. Shout out to I Love This Dance. I super appreciate
Big shout outs.
Everything you've been doing
100%.
for the dancers and the artists of our community. Mm-hmm. Who else do we need to shout out? No one. Shout out Robia because she's dope.
Shout out Luke because he has this podcast, my G's.
So everybody like and subscribe and comment.
Please do.
Well, I mean, you know what? Comment and like if you like the podcast and if you have something to say. Yeah. And subscribe if you want to. I don't like when people just beg you to subscribe and comment.
True.
If you don't want to, don't do it.
It's fine.
It's my job. It's my job to make a podcast worth subscribing to. And when you want to subscribe, you will. I'm not going to ask you to do that.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to. But thank you for rocking with me for 24 episodes.
Jeez.
We're going to be back next week. Should I say who's coming next week?
Do it.
Oh, I'm scared because what if she cancels?
Oh, yeah, okay. It's a she. That's all we know right now.
And if it's a he next week on the podcast...
if it's a he, it's cancelled.
It means that the she cancelled. Thank you guys. I super appreciate it. And
thanks, guys.
I'll catch you next week.
Big love.
Let's do a little outro song because we've had some drinks and we're leaving now. We had some rum and some Malibu and desperados, and now we're gonna sign up. Bye.